Today's video podcast is about...
Well, I read from Isaiah, and we talk about how God is with us even when our trials are long-suffering, let's say.
Right.
And then we also talk about the movie Gridshock that we saw.
Yeah, human trafficking.
Human trafficking.
So stay tuned.
We have a little bit of different things.
Yeah.
Okay, stay tuned.
Take it, Mark. Welcome back to another video podcast.
Welcome back.
With Thankful for Us. I'm Mark.
I'm Ginny.
Hi, Ginny.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
How we doing?
And how y'all doing? Doing very good.
No surgeries this week?
No, we're healing.
All right.
We're doing the healing thing.
That's good. That's good. Takes us longer to heal the older we get, you know.
And speaking of healing, well, we were speaking of healing.
Speaking of healing, we'll still speak about healing because I have something else to bring up about that.
Oh, okay.
I know. I got so much to talk about. I know. Mark is all excited when I say I have so much to talk about.
Today's video podcast is going to be, what are we talking about? We're going to be talking about slavery and human trafficking.
That's right. That's right.
That's been going on all this time.
Right under your
even
nose.
Still today.
And I'm going to tell you how it's going on right under your nose, and you don't even know it.
Don't even know.
You think it's just going on in other countries or with, just those criminals that have all the drugs and the drug houses, but okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to read from Isaiah 43.
Thank you, Isaiah.
2.
You too.
When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned, and the flames shall not consume you.
Wow. And is that when you believe in the Lord and stuff like that? Is that what that's like saying?
Well, and God is always with us, right?
Right. Although your body may be on fire or through pain, your soul is still with God.
Right. I used to always think that the only way that I would be okay was if, you get over something or through something to the other side of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know anymore that we always get to the other side of something. And God has to give us peace right where we're at.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Other side of death, like death or something?
Well, death too. I mean, we have had deaths in our lives that you really don't get over.
No.
I mean, you learn how to live without that person, but you're not. I mean, nothing's ever the same. Right.
Well, that's how you keep people's spirit alive, is through other people. If they remember you, see, you're still there somewhere.
Right.
Doesn't that make any sense? No?
Yes. Yes. But also, I think, there's times when things haven't always gotten better. There's, let's see, what can I use for an example?
Okay, I know where you're going with that. Right.
Okay,
things are not changing, right?
Right, or things didn't get better like we thought they would.
Right.
They maybe did get better, but maybe because we're relying on God instead of it actually getting better.
Right.
Like, I'm going to use this example. Our son was in the Navy, and he got sick in the Navy, and we didn't know what was going on with him.
Right.
It turned out he had bipolar. So there's no end to that. Right? So the rest of our lives, we're going to worry about him having bipolar, and that's going to be, a cross that he's going to have to bear, right?
Yep.
So it wasn't like we got to the other side of that, right?
Right.
And somehow we had to find peace with that where we are.
Right.
And we have to continue to do that, and so does he. And I think that has been something that we have had to learn along the way. And I think that's probably true of anybody who has a child that has any kind of illness that continues.
Sure, yeah.
You know, when your child is young and they get, you know, the flu, cold, anything like that, you just wait for it to be over with. But sometimes it's not over with.
Right,
it happens
right.
with people with all kinds of illnesses.
And when you talk about things that don't heal or don't change, we were talking the other day about the human trafficking that's going on and stuff, right?
True. Yeah.
And they had that way back in Bible time, biblical time,
Right.
with slavery and
Right.
trading people for, you know, using them as money and trade and stuff like that, as a thing and not like a person, you know.
Right. Right.
And it's still going on, you know.
It is still going on. But now that, I believe, is not something that we should accept. And although I think that, you know, God wants us to accept wherever we are with Him, but that one I think we need to fight against.
Right. Yeah,
And
totally.
in fighting against that, I guess that's why we're talking about that. We heard, okay, so we went to the movie Gridshock.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And I don't know that that's playing everywhere. I don't know. I think you can get it. It's Gridshock, and we can put a link for it below, because I think you can pay $10 for it and get it. Okay.
Yeah, that was produced from I think a student from Iowa.
Iowa
right?
Central.
Iowa Central. Right.
No, not Iowa Central. Iowa State.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, Iowa
Our
State.
daughter goes
Sorry
to Iowa
about that.
Central.
Right.
But it talked about human trafficking here in Iowa.
Right.
Is what it really talked
Right
about.
underneath our feet.
Right. And they interviewed 3 different gals that have been trafficked here in Iowa. And the one especially really had my heart, because she was microchipped. But she continued to go to class. She continued to do everything that a normal gal would do. But she was microchipped, so she was never free. She had to hang on to every receipt. She had to, it sometimes was with 50 or 60 men in a 24-hour period. And she made like $50,000 to $60,000 for the pimp in that time. And if she didn't,
a lot of money, a lot of money.
And if she didn't, then, you know, she didn't eat, or she didn't lay on a bed, or she didn't, whatever it was. She was beaten, whatever it was. But to the people around her, I bet she just seemed like just the girl next, just
meat.
Well, yes, but I mean,
as she
like
went
to her
school
friends, because she couldn't tell anyone, because she knew that she was under their microscope the whole time.
Yeah, and so, you know, a microchip and being tracked, that's big bucks. That's like government stuff and everything. So
and she was with lots of millionaires. She said she was in these $1 million homes. She was by Okoboji, which is, if you're not from Iowa, you don't know where that is, but there's a lot of $1 million homes there. There's a lot of millionaires there. And she couldn't believe what kind of people were that she had to be with, let's say. But what surprised me about that was that, you know, she wasn't hidden. She wasn't like she had disappeared and
they didn't
was
keep
gone.
Her locked up, right?
They didn't really keep her locked up. She was locked up in a different way. She could go to school. She could do things that supposedly a normal person does. She was just always knew that she was microchipped and she had no freedom.
And these Johns are just regular guys, you know, who have kids and, you know, and
the Johns the Johns are really what we used to call pimps, right?
No, the pimp is the one that controls the girl. The Johns are the guys that pay to get the product done.
Say it again.
The Johns are the men that go
pay for the service.
Right.
Oh.
The pimp is the one that controls the girl.
Oh, okay. So the John and the pimp aren't the same thing.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's it. The John is the guy that pays. The pimp is the one that
Okay, I had
beats
that
her,
wrong then.
beats her, and everything like that. Right?
Okay, so that's the other thing that they brought up in this too, was that if it were not for a consumer, meaning a John, meaning the guy that pays for the service, there would be none of this.
There would be none, right?
So that's another thing you want to think about, and that is that there are Johns everywhere. You may sit by one in church. They also said that the Johns are normally between 20 and 50 years old and married and have kids.
Yep. And a lot of money. Most of them, right?
A lot of money, or just middle class, even. They even had one on there that had been a consumer.
Oh, right, yeah. No.
And he was a pastor.
Right.
And he got caught by his wife, and she was so gracious and so good to him.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
said she didn't yell at him or nothing. She just cried to him.
She just cried with him.
We'll fix this.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was saving up $5,000 to go to Reno, actually, and I think he was only doing that because he was a pastor. He didn't want to be known. And he said $5,000 would buy him whatever he wanted.
Right. Which they didn't really have, but he saved up for.
Right. He didn't have it.
Just for that one little trick.
Right. You know? One night for 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
And then he talked about what that $5,000 would pay for. And it was not pretty.
Whatever he wanted.
Whatever he wanted, but it goes beyond what you're thinking. It's not just about positions. I know. I know. But we have to talk about it. This is so evil. It's so awful. And they will be trafficked in the United States.
And spread that word. Let everybody know out there. You know,
right.
That's what that girl wants us to do. You know,
yes.
We're going to see how can we do it, but this is how we do it.
Right.
We spread the knowledge.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And look into it more yourselves. We are going to.
Yeah.
We're going to look into it more ourselves. Yeah. We've tried to do a little bit more through Mark's surgeries and things that have gone on, but we'll continue to do that, and we'll continue to keep you updated if there's things that you can do. If you know anything, reach out to us, because I'm willing to stand on the front lines at this point. I'm willing to go to the border if I need to. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, because these are children. These are God's children. And these are God's girls, too. I mean, not all of these gals that were taken in Iowa were children, but they were young adults.
Oh, yeah. College students.
Yeah.
Right?
But that to me is a child.
Was a straight age college student that was in sports and everything like that. And she met one guy and...
Right. And he was her boyfriend, but her boyfriend's family was into this sex slave thing.
That was
and I think the boyfriend was a victim of it too. It's horrible. It's unimaginable to those of us that have not witnessed it. I think it's things that we can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is. So,
but it's something to open your eyes up.
Right. I think it's something that we need to remove the scales of our eyes to, because we have to. Right. We have to. Right?
For sure.
For sure.
So let's pray for them. And
yes, absolutely.
And I'm going to pray for you, honey.
Yeah, and I'm going to pray for you too.
Thank you.
We need to pray for each other, right?
Right.
That's one thing we've learned this last month is I know I need to pray for my husband.
And prayer heals, right?
Prayer heals. Prayer changes things. That's what my little thing up there says.
Oh, yeah.
That little thing up there, I love it. It says prayer changes things. I love that.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to put a bigger picture right here.
Put a great big arrow to it. Yeah, I've always liked that little thing. I think I was given that, I don't know, as a gift one time.
Nice.
And I like it. Yeah, and I believe it too. I think that the more people pray, the more, you know, that it can change. And I know that God changes things. I know He hears our prayers. And I know He hears the prayers of those who seek Him. The girls. And that's another thing too, is that guy said that it is overwhelmingly men.
Right.
who are the
Yeah.
consumers.
Oh yeah.
You know, you hear some about the women or boys that are sex trafficked too, but it's overwhelmingly men
Right.
who are the consumers. So let's pray for our men too, our men. And
Right.
you know, some of this that we think is probably so innocent, you know, like the one guy that was in it, he was introduced to porn when he was like 14.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what eventually got him hooked on it.
Right.
And, you know, we don't think so much about it, but I think we have to. What it can lead to.
But back to the Bible, though, I remember there's the one that Jesus healed, the woman that was not, who was a prostitute or something like that.
The one by the well?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now she followed him afterward, Jesus, right?
I believe so, yes. Yes.
And they have a part in this show called
The
that
Chosen.
we watched, The Chosen,
Mm-hmm.
where everybody knew her as, you know, like a prostitute and everything.
Right.
But all the guys knew her as personally because they're the ones that did any action on her.
They did?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
maybe didn't
not the
test
people,
that.
not the
disciples,
right,
but the
not
other ones.
them. Yeah, because remember when she went into town and she said, they like, well, I want to see so and so, and they're like, well, who are you? She goes, well, my name used to be something. He's like, he'll know me. And then the guard went in there and he says, oh, you must know him pretty well, you know. And because she went in there to tell her that she doesn't do it anymore. And she's, yeah, you know.
Oh, yeah, I guess I kind of remember
Yeah.
that, yeah.
And,
which is the same as today. Again,
right,
the
exactly.
consumer,
All these years.
the consumer is,
Mm-hmm.
again, the person next door.
Right.
If we didn't have the consumers.
Right.
So maybe not only do we need to pray for these poor girls that are being taken hostage,
Right.
we also need to pray for our men. Because the guy said that too. I know that there are some women, of course, who get into this. There are some...
The mandatory for... that's a word for that. I can't think of it. But they, you know, there's a product. Oh, they had some marketing guys.
Right.
Well, you know, it's money involved. There's a product. It's people want it.
There's a consumer.
Yeah. And
It has to do with supply and demand.
Supply and demand. That's
Right.
right. There was that
Right.
marketing guy who was talking about, yeah, it's just... And if the demand is out there,
They're going to supply it,
the
right?
pimps will supply it, and that's where all the money goes.
Right.
And that's what you were talking about. The men, you know, pray for the men who
Right.
have this addiction,
Right.
the sex addiction, addiction,
Right.
you know, that have to make these women into slaves, you know,
Right.
to you know, do bodily harm to them, you know, stuff like
Right.
that, you know.
Right. I mean, it's
unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, but we have to believe it, and we have to recognize it, because we have to do something about it. I think we have to save these girls. We have to save these men. We have to save our society from it. You know, the U.S. is the #1 consumer for sex trafficking.
Yeah.
I think that's sad.
Like
You know,
Main Street,
we're not
Uh-huh.
a third world country, but we are when it comes to that, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and sex addiction is such an evil thing, and it can be so
Big
consuming.
market,
Yes. So we really need to pray about that, and I think we really need to open our eyes and look into that. I am hoping to meet with a gal who is into that in the next couple of weeks, and see how we can help more.
Right.
With this, because it also has to do with, I mean, please pray about this. No matter which side of the aisle you sit on, our open borders is not doing us any good.
Not a good thing.
If you think that all those children coming through our open borders are just their families loving them and trying to give them a better life, it's not the case.
The kids don't even know who the parents are.
Right. A lot of those kids don't have parents. bringing them across.
And they're going to come in here and probably as the traffickers will grab them. And
right.
It's terrible.
They've been taken from their homes, from their families, from their parents, from their loved ones. The devil's always working to get us down that wrong path.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's a little lesson that we all should learn, right?
Right.
And spread the word,
Yeah, spread the word.
You might be hearing more about this in our podcast.
Right.
It's a very interesting subject.
Interesting and scary and something that I think we got to get our hands on.
These guys don't fool around. They don't.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, a lot of big names in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They don't care who you are.
Nah,
They don't care that you're a human.
Mm-hmm.
Or that you have a family. In fact, that's a lot of times how they get them, is they'll say, I'm going to kill your parents if you don't do what I say. They don't even threaten her life. They threaten her parents' life or her family's life or her little sister's life.
Yeah, well,
that's what they do.
That's how they get it. You can kill me, yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to kill your family.
We're going to do a slow death.
Right. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
And I hope we taught you something.
I think they teach us things.
Yeah.
We
need more comments, though.
We do need more comments. Write a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment. Tell a friend.
Because I see people on the streets, believe it or not, who say, I watch your videos. And I go, really? Leave us a comment.
I had one in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Hey.
He didn't know who it was, but he did figure it out.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
So leave us a comment.
Thanks for watching.
Let us know that you're watching. Mm-hmm. Let us know what you want us to pray for.
Right.
Anything else? Okay, we love you all.
Thank you, honey.
And I love you.
I love you.
I'm going to move for that hat.
Yeah.
See you later.